Tomorrow. I'm Gary Thurman, your host. I think we had a different host in here last week. I think you said I'm Bobby Futch, not Gary Thurman, or something like that.
Right. He said, I'm Bobby Futch, and I'm not your host.
Yeah, I'm not your host. Welcome to the show. Plan today, on tomorrow. My name's Gary Thurman. I'm here with Bobby Futch, Tim McDermott. We got Mr. Tristan Baker over in the corner, making sure everything sounds good for you guys. And I'm so happy that you're here and joining us on the show today. Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. And I want to get into it a little bit because, recent travels, been around some other advisors, Bobby, and, it just seems like everybody in the country is talking about the same thing right now. And mostly it's income. And I know we talk about income and we talk about taxes and we talk about this stuff all the time on this show. But, man, it's just important.
It is. I mean, I would say it's the most important thing in retirement, right?
Because if you have an income set up, then you don't have to worry about so many other things. So want to dig into that for a few minutes. But first of all, Tim, how's your week, bud?
Fantastic. I watched Happy Gilmore 2 this week.
Okay, and I got to know. Because I have seen very, very mixed reviews.
Oh, you haven't watched it yet?
I have not watched it yet.
Killer movie. I won't ruin it for anybody out there, but fantastic movie. I think they did a phenomenal job of not trying so hard to recreate the original, but keeping the same feel. It was very nostalgic, if you will.
That's cool. Yeah. Have you watched it, Bobby?
I did watch it. We had a little bit of sickness going around our house last weekend, so it was the perfect opportunity to watch Happy Gilmore 2. There are so many cameos in that movie.
Yeah.
There's like
70,
a crazy amount of
Yeah.
famous people in the movie, right?
It's insane. Everything from like famous rappers to other Adam Sandler guys to, pro golfers.
A bunch of
Wazoo,
them.
right? Yeah.
And again, I won't ruin it for you, but like some classic pro golfers are in there.
That's so cool.
And they kind of made a couple jokes at their own expense. Right.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome.
My buddy Clint Powell went up yesterday and said, I am not going to watch it because I don't want to ruin the first one. So I've got to watch it because I'm a golfer.
It won't run it. It's worthwhile. And if you're a big golfer and you watch Bryson DeChambeau's got his own YouTube channel, right?
No, he's hilarious.
He tries to hit under 50 hitting select shot with other famous people, other golfers and things. So he did it with Adam Sandler, I guess, right after they made the movie.
Right.
And I just watched it the other night. It was awesome. He talks to Adam about the movie, and this is before it's released, so he's talking about how nostalgic it was for him and everybody. But he talks about Chubbs. You remember Chubbs?
Oh, remember Chubbs, yeah.
So
One-handed coach.
Chubbs was supposed to be in this movie.
Well, but he passed.
And they had a part for him. He was so excited to be in it, and he passed before he could get into it, which was really sad. But it was awesome to hear about it, actually.
I think that's so cool.
Worth a watch.
I thought it was so cool that Scotty Scheffler just won the Open, over in Europe and got back to the States so he could be here for the preview of the movie.
He has a really funny part in that movie.
He does.
I won't ruin it for you, but a little self-deprecating humor on Scotty Scheffler's part.
He's pretty good at it. Pretty good at it. So Happy Gilmore, you guys go check it out for sure. So again, we got Bridget Abby out in the office making sure everything's running smoothly. We got Tanner Moore. I heard Tanner on the phone already this morning, boys, with somebody about Medicare. So he was in there helping somebody get set up for open enrollment and get things going. But can we jump into some income planning, guys?
Sure.
Tim, I don't think market volatility is the biggest fear out there anymore. I don't think inflation. I know dying is not the number one fear in Americans and pre-retirees right now. It's all about income and longevity risk. It's just so real.
Sure. Yeah, it's a very real risk. It's a very real concern for almost everyone that walks in our door. That's the number one thing that we plan for, and the number one concern that they have. And it's because everybody wants to make sure that big pile of cash that they've accumulated over working years is usable in retirement, and they want to make sure they don't run out of it. Right.
You know what's interesting to me though is to your point, it doesn't matter how much you've saved. Because somebody that saved a couple $100,000 in retirement usually has, a budget that's not nearly as large.
That's right.
They're used to that.
Yeah.
But we deal with that all the time. People come in with $2-3 million or more for retirement. They're worried about the same thing because they're used to spending a couple $100,000 a year.
Right.
We just met with the guy yesterday, right? And he said he's got an advisor right now, and his advisor says, "Yeah, you're good. Go retire." And the guy's like, "Well, you didn't show me how." Like,
isn't that?
And so he's concerned,
that's big.
right?
That's big. So I'm assuming he's working with a big shop out there, and their only goal is growth, accumulation. And there comes a point in your life, Bobby, where you go from an accumulation phase to a distribution phase. And distribution can mean a lot of things.
Yeah.
Income planning, tax planning, long-term care planning, legacy planning. Let's talk about that. So you work your whole life to accumulate as much money as you can. But now we're sitting here, we're retiring, and now we're hitting distribution phase. Explain to our viewers out there and our listeners the difference in the two.
Yeah, and this really is what I'll call a 401k problem. And we talk to people about this all the time, is 401ks are awesome buckets to put money away for retirement and grow those assets. What it's really bad at is making sure that you have money in retirement. And there's a couple reasons for that. One is because they're limited in the investments you can have. And most of the investments that you can have within your 401k are geared towards growth.
Yeah.
Right? So when you get close to retirement, 5, I'd say even 10 years out, you got to make sure that you're not taking too much risk in those 401ks. And it's hard to do just because your options are limited. So the IRS allows what they call in-service withdrawals at 59 and a half.
Right.
Even if you're still working, you can move money out of your 401k into a self-directed or managed IRA account and take the appropriate amount of risk.
And let's dig into this for a second, because
Let's do,
this is
because I want to
interesting.
read this article, Wall Street Journal, since you talk about 401ks as well.
Why do people looking for safety?
Well, because when you get closer to retirement, right, you have less time to recover from market risk.
Yeah, so they don't want to lose that money, and
That's
they don't want
right.
to lose that money. Why?
Because they need it.
Because they need that
an income.
paycheck from it to keep
Right.
coming. So if we can guarantee that paycheck, then we have less need for lower risk, right?
That's right.
Mhm.
You get to that point, gentlemen, where you start thinking about. I liked what you just said. You're 62 years old. Just use that for an example. You're not 42 anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have as much time on your side, so you really got to start thinking about, hey, how am I going to pull money from these vehicles? And like you said, the 401k is a beautiful thing, but it's just a vehicle. It's not an income plan. And Tim, so it goes. I love this question right here. Why market returns don't equal income? I mean, market returns are great.
Yeah.
And you need them, but that's not an income plan.
So I'm going to fold this into what I think is going to be your next question, which is sequence of returns
Yeah.
risk, right? And this is, I think these two kind of go hand in
Okay,
hand.
let's do them together.
Do returns actually equal income? No, because you can make a 10% rate of return, but then if you pull that 10% that year, you may see a negative return the next year, and then the average of everything that pans out is not going to work in your favor. So I have an interesting article here from Charles Schwab. They ran a sequence of returns calculator on a couple scenarios. This is the most important one to me. This person's got $1 million, right? This is and a lot of people are striving to get to that $1 million mark, thinking I'll be fine
a
if
big
I
goal.
get to $1 million, right? Well, there's two scenarios here, right? One person retires and the market declines by 15% in year 10 or 11, and by the end of 18 years, they still have $400,000 in their account. The other person sees the same returns, just in a different order, and that 15% return or that 15% loss happens in the first 2 years. They're flat out of money in year 18.
Wow.
Now think
They're
about
broke.
this. If you retired at age 60, you're dead broke by 78. If
And
you retired-
longevity risk is still there?
If you retired at 65, you're broke by 83.
Right.
Right.
And we're living longer now, so that
That's
can
right.
be an issue. I think guaranteed. And, I mean, I love that Tim put those together. So, Bobby, here's the question. Why are most advisors out there just missing the boat when it comes to income planning for their clients?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's just an issue with our industry and a lot of advisors, right? The only thing they have to offer, the only thing they know is what we call AUM, or assets under management. And so they want to keep people in the market because that's how they get paid.
Right.
I lived in that world for a long time. I call it my previous life.
Previous life.
Right. And so those folks don't have guaranteed income that can come with a properly put together fixed indexed annuity. And they're huge, man. You can still make money in these products, and they have income that you're guaranteed not to outlive. That's the whole goal of saving
is.
for retirement.
It is.
Like, I don't know anybody that says, I want to, pass away sitting on a pile of cash.
Yeah.
No.
Right,
No.
and
And
so-
we're going to dig into those annuities on the second part of the show today. But you mentioned the word annuity.
Yeah.
Is an annuity right for everyone when it comes to income planning?
No, it's
Okay.
not necessarily right
Right.
for everyone, but it's something that everyone should look at.
Consider.
you should consider that because not only can it guarantee you income, but there are a lot of other things, and I'm not going to spoil the second segment, but annuities do a lot more
They
today
do.
than they did 10, 15 years ago.
But Tim, you just met with a lady the other day or a couple, and I mean they've done well, and then they didn't need one. I mean yes,
Yeah.
they could have used one, but they've
Well,
done well for themselves. And
In their case, they were living well below their means, right?
Correct.
And so they could afford to not have to worry about that risk. There's something called a Monte Carlo report. Basically says what's the likelihood that you make it to age 100, on the assets that you have,
Right.
with the risks that you're
Right.
taking on. And they were at a 97% success rate, and even a 3% fail rate had them decreasing their income by $1,000 a month. So they didn't necessarily need one. They were more comfortable with getting more growth. They had a higher risk tolerance, if you will, and so I didn't feel like it was necessary.
Right,
She didn't feel like it was
right.
necessary, and we moved on.
And maybe later down the road,
Maybe.
maybe later down the road,
It's
we can do an annuity for them for other reasons. We're going to dig into that, Bob, because you're right. There's so many different types of annuities. There's so many bells and whistles that go with them, and we're going to dig into that next. Because what I want to dig into on the next segment is income for life without market risk, and that's what we're going to focus on. But look, if you're interested in these annuities that we're talking about right now, all you have to do is text the word annuity. 877-706-7526. Again, text the word annuity, ANNUITY, 877-706-7526. We'll send the guide right out to you. When we come back, we are going to focus on income for life without market risk. Stay tuned. In the U.S., it takes an average of 12.5 months for families to legally resolve all financial matters after someone passes away. As a financial advisor, I realize how delicate it can be talking about end of life and financial matters. But that is why I'm here, to help make that hard conversation about taking care of your loved ones easier to have. What if your beneficiaries need some funds sooner than 12 months to cover medical expenses, funeral costs, or monthly bills? That's where Guardian Investment Advisors has you covered. There is a financial solution where we would place a portion of your assets you're already planning on leaving to your loved ones into a guaranteed issue life insurance policy. Within 48 hours, these funds can be provided to your family with confirmation from the funeral home. I'm Gary Thurman, CEO of Guardian Investment Advisors. We are your neighbors right here in the Tennessee Valley. Call us today. Your peace of mind starts with a simple conversation. Welcome back to Plan Today, Own Tomorrow. Gary Thurman, your host. Guardian Investment Advisors is the name of our firm. We are located in beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee, and Knoxville, Tennessee. We're excited about that, office boys. Having a great show today because we're talking about the number one fear in America. We're talking about income and income planning. I did want to let everybody know that's listening out there, we are actually hosting a lunch and learn here at our office, 1825 Gun Barrel Road. We've got a great event space upstairs, gentlemen. We're going to do this on August the 14th. We're going to do a lunch and learn, 1:30 to 3:30. If you're listening out there, what we're going to focus on are taxes and income. Taxes and income. So if that's a topic you are interested in, again, August 14th, 1:30 to 3:30, right here at Gun Barrel Road location in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just call Abby, 423-710-9199, 423-710-9199 if you are interested in attending that absolutely free event. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's jump back in, guys. And Tim, I want to start this conversation talking about properly, and I'm going to use that word, properly structured fixed indexed annuities. I know so many people out there heard so many bad things about these products. And guys, listen, I absolutely love them if they're used the right way. And if someone picks the right one. There's a lot of annuities out there that are not so great, but let's go into indexed annuities, zero market risk, upside potential. Let's just talk about all the perks. You do a few, Bobby does a few, I'll do a few. Let's just go from there.
Well, the number one perk that you get from these fixed indexed annuities is a guaranteed income for life. I mean, that's a big one, right?
That's the main goal for us, right? I mean, when we do an annuity.
It's nice when we're structuring this plan, and if you've heard us before, we talk about our bucket system, the red, yellow, green bucket, and the annuities go in that green bucket, right? It's a personal pension plan, if you will, and it's a way to recreate that paycheck that never stops for you. the insurance company and you sign a contract that says, hey, this number is guaranteed for my life no matter what happens as long as I live. And a lot of times, Bobby, we've been doing these on a joint basis.
Yeah.
This is really cool because you'll have an IRA. A lot of times we see the husband or the wife are the one who accumulated the most assets. They work the most, whatever the case may be. And that money's in an IRA, which means it can't be jointly owned. But we can create a joint income for life out of these different programs.
So you're saying I come to you, I've got a $500,000 401k. Me and Ron are sitting there with you together. You can take that $500,000 old 401k of mine, roll it into one of these fixed index annuities, and create an income that myself and Rhonda will have for the rest of our lives?
Gary, it sounds like you have a lot of questions. You should come see us.
Bobby,
Yes.
I go a year and I die.
Yeah, that's a huge misunderstanding with a lot of annuities. And originally they were like that. You know, we
The
call
good
them
old SPIAs.
SPIAs,
Yep.
a single premium immediate annuity. I've never written one. Maybe you guys have written one or two.
Yeah,
They're just kind of dinosaurs now.
they are.
And to your point, what happens is if you pass away within a year or 2 or 5, the insurance company keeps all that money, and your spouse or your kids are kind of out of luck.
Yeah.
They're not like that anymore if they're properly structured. So a properly structured fixed indexed annuity can give you guaranteed income for life, joint income if that
Or
makes
single.
sense, or single.
Yeah.
But we almost always say joint because if you can tell me when you're going to pass away, I can
Yeah.
tell you whether or not a single life annuity is the best. But I don't know. I'm glad I don't know when I'm going to pass away. That'd be kind
Yeah.
of morbid.
Yeah, I don't
And
think I want to know that.
That's a really important part of financial planning, though. But if you do it within a certain amount of time, there could be a death benefit there
Sure.
Right.
available to your beneficiaries, which is huge.
So I want to go back to me and Rhonda. Me and Rhonda get this set up, and I'm just using an example, Tim. You got us at $25,000 a year, guaranteed for the rest of our lives. So we're living. I pass away 10 years later. Rhonda lives another 10 years. She still keeps that income coming in.
That's right. As long as it's set up and done on a joint level, that's correct.
That's insane. And then, like you said, if there's anything left, then that would go to our beneficiaries.
That's right.
So it's not a use it or lose it kind of situation.
Right.
Let's talk about some other things, because I think the number 2 fear in America right now, and this is a big topic for us, is people are worried about getting sick. So Tim, some of these programs we have now have what we call impairment riders attached to them. Let's talk about that for a few minutes.
Yeah, well, look, this is why Gary got into the business, right?
It is.
He's got a story that talks about how his grandmother moved in with him as a young child, and he wanted to make sure that didn't happen to other folks out of the way, right? So these long-term care benefit riders can be very strong. Gary, because it's passionate to you, I want you to hit on this point.
Yeah, I'd love to. So this is a neat situation. Let's just go back to that same example where myself and Rhonda retired. You got us an income at $25,000 joint for the rest of our lives. These products are ADL driven, Activity Daily Living Skills, and we're happy to send those out to you guys, or just Google ADLs. It's right there. Meta will pop right up and tell you what ADLs are. But if I fail 2 of those ADLs, Tim,
Yep.
I get sick. I can't give myself my medications, or I can't take myself to the restroom, whatever the case may be. If I fail 2 of those, that $25,000 turns to $50,000.
It's pretty strong, isn't it? Now,
They're going to double my money.
what does that do for you?
A whole lot. So first of all, I love that it's. I want to make sure people understand it's ADL driven, so I don't have to be in a home.
Yeah, that'll disappoint Rhonda, but yeah.
Well, actually, I think Rhonda would probably want me in a home. But
Yeah, you can stay at home.
Let's say Rondo does want to take care of me because I got sick or whatever the case may happen. Now she's got the extra money. One, if she had to leave work, or 2, if she needs help with someone coming in to take care of me.
Yeah, I mean, in-home care right now is roughly maybe $2,500 a month.
Or more.
$25,000 a year extra is a little over $2,000 a month. That could help or almost pay for
5 years.
some partial in-home help, right?
Yeah, and I want to make sure the folks that are listening or watching understand you don't have to be in a home. This gets paid to you, not the service provider.
That's right.
Right. So if you needed to put a ramp on the house or redo a bathroom to make it easier, you can do that.
Do
right?
whatever you want.
You can do whatever
your
you
money.
want with this money because it comes directly to you.
And just because you can't do 2 out of 6 ADLs doesn't make you bedridden by any means, right? I've seen there's plenty of people that are walking around living
absolutely.
their life that can't perform 2 out of 6 ADLs. And so being at home in your own comfort zone, doing what you need to do with some partial help is a very appealing thing for a lot of folks.
So that product's given me and Rhonda safety. It's given us guaranteed income. And now, oh, by the way, we've got a little bit of care there if we need it. Now, gentlemen, we have another fixed index annuity that's not an income-driven fixed index annuity. And this is kind of became my favorite one right now because there's something in this product. It's a growth. It's a fixed growth indexed annuity. This is all about growing your money as safe as we can and as much as we can. And the indexing with this company is incredible. Bobby, they have a feature. After 1 year, you got to wait 1 year. But after 1 year, if you fail 2 of these ADLs, they'll give you all of your money back, 100%.
That's
No questions asked.
That's the best access to money you can get, right?
With the bonus, by the way.
Yeah. So this particular, you know what? Let's just use a client example. I'm working on one right now, gentlemen, where we are giving this client a 22.5% cash bonus day one. 22.5.
It's a good day's work.
Now, this also it has a fixed bucket of 3.4%. This gentleman said, hey, just lock that in for the first year along with my bonus. I'm making 26% right off the bat, guaranteed for a year. And oh gosh, Gary, by the way, if I get sick, I've just increased my portfolio and I've got more money. And guess what he had to do to qualify for that? He had to write a
Nothing.
check.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because traditional long-term care insurance, you got to go through all kinds of medical questionnaires. They got to call your doctor and get your records. A lot of times you have to have a phone interview.
Yeah.
Because these are annuities, it's not based on medical information
That's right.
at all. You're pretty much guaranteed to get issued, which is insane.
It's really, really neat, Tim. And I'm going to talk about one other type of annuity that we have because we're really talking about long-term care right now is that our asset-based long-term care product where we can put some money into this. The cash value and the long-term care value are going to grow. And if you never use it, you just pass the money to your beneficiaries.
Yeah, so the cool thing about this program is it's really designed to help with long-term care help, right? You put in a certain cash value, let's just call it $200,000, and this one does have a little bit of underwriting.
Yeah, it does. Little.
Yeah, a little bit. It's not nothing crazy, right? You don't have to have a nurse come out to your house and poke you
Right.
for blood. We just answer some questions and probably pull some doctor's records, right? But as long as you're healthy or in a fairly healthy state, it will triple that $200,000 day one to help you take care of future long-term care needs, which, by the way, then continues to grow for you so that as health insurance costs, one of the most highly inflated
Inflation.
programs in the United States, your value to take care of that healthcare cost grows at the same time, right? So we're leveraging that asset to help you self-insure. And so if you don't need it, it's not like the insurance company's going to keep it all. It goes down to your kids.
It's just incredible. And Bobby, we've got about a minute left here, but how important it is for our listeners and our viewers to know out there, we're talking about annuities right now, but we're not an annuity shop. You know, we do everything for everybody. The reason we like annuities, Tim referenced earlier, is so we can create that green bucket of income, but we still have money in the market.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's exactly right.
we want everybody to have some skin in the game. We're not just going to put all of your money into an annuity. We're basically doing this for safety or for income.
That's right. Yeah, and that's exactly right. And Tim mentioned the buckets of money, and the green bucket is, I would argue, the most important
It is,
bucket
hands
long
down.
term.
Yeah.
Right. The yellow bucket is important. You need to have money on the sidelines for those things that happen in life, but you also need money in the red bucket in the market.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because there are things like inflation, taxes, and the red bucket is the one that's going to keep up with all those and has the potential to grow the most over time.
Yep.
You need to have some skin in the game to make sure that those things that are probably going to happen in the future,
Yeah.
if the green bucket doesn't take care of it, the red one will.
Folks, let me tell you something. The annuities are good as long as they are properly structured. They may or may not be right for you. The only way we're going to know is if we have a conversation with you and we make sure that we show you our yellow, green, and red bucket system. I would encourage you, again, to text the word annuity to 877-706-7526. Again, annuity, 877-706-7526. When we come back, we're jumping into taxes, boys, our favorite topic. We'll be right back. You might not be able to retire if you haven't thought about future inflation and future taxes. When you're going through your retirement plan, are you thinking about inflation? Does your current plan have inflation built into it? The national average is about 3%. Of course, it's been really, really high the last few years,
but it has come back down. But you got to build inflation into your retirement plan because we don't want to run out of money. Another thing I stress to my clients all the time is we got to think about future taxes. Our government has one source of income, and that is taxes. And I promise you, with $34 trillion in debt, $2 more trillion being added this year in 2024, the interest only on our national debt is $1 trillion. Folks, taxes are going to go up. You've got a window of opportunity in 2024 and 2025 while taxes are still on sale. Let's start looking at maybe taking some of your taxable money to tax-free money. This is all part of the Wealth Guard planning process. We'll do this for you when we're creating an income plan. You got to think about inflation and you got to think about taxes. Give us a call today and come in and see myself and my team, and let's put this plan together for you.
Welcome back to Plan Today on Tomorrow. Gary Thurman, your host. Guardian Investment Advisors. I'm in here today with Bobby Futch, Tim McDermott, Tristan Baker over in the corner, making sure everything sounds good. And we got our guest. That means we're going to be talking about something when Uncle Sammy comes out. So if you're listening on the radio, you don't get to see Uncle Sammy, but he's here with us today, and we're going to talk about some tax planning. Now, boys, Sammy made his TV debut last week.
That's awesome.
He had his own bottom third and everything on the TV show, so it was really cool. But it is a little funny bringing out our little IRS duck here. But, you know, Tim, the Tax Cuts and Job Act, a lot of things just happened on July 4th with the big, beautiful bill. So I really want to dig into some taxes and tax planning. I want to talk about possible opportunities people have right now with Roth conversions. So let's talk about, first of all, what happened with that big, beautiful bill that just recently got passed.
A lot happened, right? We had a ton of different new tax structures that were implemented. Some things extended. Our Tax Cuts and Jobs Act tax rates were extended now to be quote unquote indefinitely. Bobby likes to say they're permanent until they're not.
No, I like that. I like that.
So we know at least, hey, they'll be there for the next 4 years. We'll see what happens on the next presidential election, but that gives us at least the next 4-year window to say, let's do some extensive planning on the tax side of things, right? There are a few things that will expire. The biggest of which is that new $6,000 tax credit that seniors are getting. We've had a ton of phone calls recently, Bobby, about the Social Security, no tax on Social Security. And that never really went through, right?
Right, yeah. Social Security is still taxed, and that didn't change. But what they were able to pass is that extra, I think they call it the senior citizens tax credit.
Right.
That for a lot of people will mean they're not paying income tax on their Social Security benefits.
It's $6,000 an individual, $12,000 for a couple. Is that correct?
That's right.
In my opinion, I actually like it a little bit better because it's not tied to your Social Security.
Yeah.
So if you have a lower Social Security amount and income coming from somewhere else at the same time, you're now tax-free, could be tax-free on all of that money, right?
That's right.
But
That's
not
right.
forever.
Not forever. That does expire January 1, 2029.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
permanent
crazy.
till it's not.
It's permanent until it's not. So, I mean, like in this example right here, gentlemen, my mother just got a raise.
Yeah.
You know, because my mother lives on her Social Security benefits. She just got a raise.
Yep.
That's really neat. I love it for her.
I do too. And to Tim's point, I think it was a really neat way of being able to deliver on a campaign promise, even though Social Security is still technically taxable.
Technically.
Yes.
So, big thing we've been talking about, Bobby, for the last, couple of years. Taxes are on sale. Taxes are on sale. Taxes are on sale. And now Tim just said those taxes are going to be on sale for a few more years.
Yeah.
Do people realize that we're actually in the third lowest tax bracket that we've ever seen in our great country?
They do now.
They do.
They
yeah. No, we share that all the time when we talk to people, and more often than not, their eyes get wide and they go, "Really?" We go, "Yeah, it still hurts to write the
Doesn't
check.
feel
don't
like
get
it,
me wrong."
yeah.
Still stinks, yeah.
But it's right, and when you continue that out for another 4 years, that window just got longer. And let's do the planning now because we don't know what's going to happen, and we can talk about what's going to happen in the future. We don't have a crystal ball here, but taxes have to go up at some point in the future, right? So it's not unreasonable to think now that you're paying less taxes, even if you're still working,
Right.
than you will be in your retirement years.
Right. So, Tim, here's a study by Vanguard that Vanguard has $12.2 trillion in 401ks.
Yeah, that's not shocking.
$12.2 trillion. So, all of those people, they haven't had a chance to talk to Sammy here, Bobby. And so, Tim, all of these, there's $12.2. They made a deal with Uncle Sam. I'm not going to pay you now, I'm going to pay you later.
That's right.
And right now, it's just a golden opportunity to maybe take some of that money and start converting it to Roth IRAs. Why is that so vital?
Yeah. So if we're in that third lowest tax bracket in history, why not pay our taxes when they're about the cheapest they've ever been and put ourselves in a place where it's going to be tax free in the future, right? Not only does that work for you because you're paying lower in tax rates, but then the gains that go into that new Roth IRA for you are now going to grow tax free and come out tax free for you later on. Do we think taxes are going to be higher or lower in 20 years?
Well, I know the answer.
Yeah.
It's
gotta
Why? Why will taxes go up?
We're approaching $37 trillion in debt in the United States. Over $1 trillion a year in our tax revenue goes to pay that interest. It just has to go. It has to go up.
That's
right?
a quarter of our revenue each year as the government goes out just to pay that that interest on the national debt. And look, right now, I believe the number is 97 cents for every tax dollar that comes in goes to pay for one of four programs.
Yep.
That's Medicare, that's Social Security,
Medicaid.
that's interest,
And
and
Medicaid.
Medicaid.
Yeah.
Right? So that's what about defense? What about all these other government programs that are out there? What about the trillions of dollars that we're going to spend on the new big beautiful tax bill? Where does that come from, right? And we're growing our deficit to have to pay for those things, right? So the government only has one income source.
Yeah.
It's taxes.
Yeah. Bobby, you've been in this business 15, 16 years. Have you ever seen an opportunity as good as this one for people to come in, have a conversation with you and Tim about doing Roth conversions?
No, I haven't. That's why we talk to everybody about it, right? It makes sense whether you've got $100,000 saved for retirement or $100 million, right? You just got to make sure that you pay taxes when it's most advantageous to you.
Right.
And we can plan for it so it's not a surprise come next April or every quarter when you're writing a check. Do it now. It doesn't make sense to wait.
You just brought up a point, though. So let's go back to my example. I come in and work with you guys. I've got a $500,000 401k. We're going to move it to an IRA. Are we going to convert all $500,000 in 2025 to a Roth IRA?
Maybe. I know this sounds crazy.
Mathematically, it makes sense.
It could make sense. Here's the thing. So we have a calculator, and it will run every scenario possible, right? Every taxable scenario. So hey, do you want to pull your taxable money first, then your tax-free, and then your pre-tax money, or do you want to do Roth conversions to fill the 12% bracket or the Medicare IRMA bracket, whatever the case may be? This software will run every scenario possible and then tell us which one is the best for your scenario, right? And I've seen it to where filling the 32% bracket from somebody who's in a 12% bracket, it fills the 32% bracket, actually gives them the lowest tax rate and the highest legacy return at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That's a big jump by going up. That's what, 3 tax bracket jumps?
Right.
That's a hard pill to swallow, but the numbers are there. And what that software doesn't take into account and why you need somebody to pay attention to what's going on economically is they're not talking about future increases in tax rates, right?
That just makes that savings better.
Absolutely, because the sooner you get it done, the better off you are, right?
Okay, so I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I can't imagine swallowing that pill, and paying the IRS that much money, Bobby. We talked about with the big, beautiful bill that the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was extended for another few years. So we could technically, if the software shows that it makes more sense, spread that tax burden out over 4 or 5 years and maybe keep you in the same tax bracket.
Yeah, we do that more often than not.
Right.
That's the kind of planning we do for folks, is spreading that out over time, because maybe instead of going into 32, you can stay in the 24 or the 22, and it makes sense. Here's the problem with that is we know we have a window for 4 years.
Right.
What's it going to do after that?
That's right.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
right.
It's more likely than not going to go up.
Yeah.
So we want to be fairly aggressive with these Roth conversions to take advantage of what we know right now from the tax code.
And there's 2 more big benefits. I think we have time to talk about it right now. Tim, I'm going to go to you on this one. The one thing I love about Roth conversions, how many people come into our office every week and go, I'm 73. I don't want this money. I don't want to take my required minimum distributions. Well, if they do Roth conversions now, there's no RMDs on Roth. Am I
That's
correct?
right. That is correct as of now. It's permanent.
As of now.
It's permanent until it's not.
Yeah.
That has been put on the chopping block a few times to see RMDs from Roth conversions or Roth IRAs. It's not as of right now, and I don't foresee that happening in the near future.
I don't either.
So that what's nice about that is it keeps it in that tax-free growth state and allows you to continue to leave it there for as long as you need until you could pass, and your kids could even keep it in that account for up to 10 years.
Right.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that allows it to go tax-free for as long as possible.
And that was my next thing that I think Roth conversions and Roth IRAs are so beautiful, Bobby, is on the legacy side of this.
Yeah.
But, you've got a daughter. Would you rather leave her a bunch of taxable money or a bunch of tax-free money?
Well, she would probably like the tax-free, right?
Well, I would think so. Yeah.
And you're right. The Roth IRA, in my opinion, is the best way to leave money for a legacy benefit. Because to Tim's point, they've got 10 years to fully liquidate that account. And until then, it grows my whole lifetime tax-free, my daughter's 10 years tax-free. That could be a long time that no one's paying a penny of taxes
That's
on.
right.
It's crazy. I love the fact that we've got all these great tools that we can do. And Tim, real quick, you got to put a plan together. This is not something we just randomly do for a client. We actually sit down with them and put a plan together around income, around market risk, and around, hey, this is what we can convert. They know what's going to happen. It's a written plan.
Yeah, Bobby, we've probably written up how many plans do you think we've written up this year?
Ooh,
100?
a lot.
120?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
probably
I don't
100.
think any of them have been the same, right?
No, everybody's different.
And so it's important to look at this on a customized level from your perspective, what you're trying to accomplish, and make sure that the investments you're using fit your goals.
I love it. One thing we've done for you guys is created a calculator where you can actually go out in the comfort of your home and take a quiz. And it's going to give you some insights on if maybe a Roth conversion is right for you. It's so simple. GIARothquiz.com. GIARothquiz.com. Check it out. Take it today. After you do that, come in and see us. Let's start putting a plan together for you to help show you how doing a Roth conversion right now and pay the taxes on the seeds versus that harvest is going to come out better for you, your family, your legacy benefits, all across the board, folks. Again, GIARothquiz.com. When we come back, we're going to keep talking about stretching some of this money out, and we're going to keep talking about taxes. Stay tuned. Too many people enter retirement without a plan or a tax strategy, and it costs them. Every dollar you save from taxes is a dollar that can be put to work to help secure your retirement. At Guardian Investment Advisors, we have the experience and the expertise to create a customized financial strategy that includes smart tax planning. It's not about quick fixes or magic formulas. It's about building a comprehensive, tax-efficient plan. We're offering a no-cost portfolio and tax strategy review to get you started. Schedule an appointment with us today. You'll be glad you did. Welcome back to Plan the Day, Own Tomorrow. My name is Gary Thurman, your host. Guardian Investment Advisors in here today with Bobby Futch and Tim McDermott. Got Tristan over in the corner. We got Bridget and Abby and Tanner and everybody else out there in the office working away for our clients right now, which we love. And guys, good show today. We've really hit hard on some income planning. We talked a lot about doing some Roth conversions. And I want to shift gears just a little bit. I want to keep talking about taxes and Roth conversions, but let's dip into that legacy benefit a little bit deeper, Tim, because we just mentioned a few minutes ago, me personally, I've got a wife, I've got 2 children, and now I've got a grandson. And my ultimate goal, especially for my grandson, is whatever I'm able to do for him to do it in some type of Roth IRA, because he's just over a year, and we're talking about taxes are going up.
Mm-hmm.
There's no telling what that young man's going to see for tax brackets moving forward. So again, looking at Roth IRAs is a really, really great benefit for your family.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You guys like baseball?
Love baseball.
You know that what happens after the 7th inning?
7th inning stretch?
That's right.
Oh, the stretch IRA?
Nice.
That
was
a
good, by the
That was
way.
a terrible segue.
I thought it was great, and I actually called it. I got it. It was great.
Stretch IRAs used to be a lifetime benefit for your beneficiaries and even their children.
Yeah.
That they could keep for quite a while, which really allowed you to take a legacy goal and stretch it out over a couple of generations down to your grandkids, Gary.
Yeah, exactly.
That rule was taken away in the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act in 2020 and made it a 10-year rule. So if you passed away after, I think it was January 1, 2020, you were not allowed to stretch that out over a lifetime anymore. It had to be taken out over 10 years. Now, why does this matter, right? It matters because if you're leaving a traditional IRA, money that has not been taxed before, you have to pull out that entire account value over the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a quick example. Let's say you had $1 million, did well, left your kids $1 million in pre-tax money. Well, that's roughly $100,000 a year that they have to pull out, not including the growth during that
Right.
10-year time frame. And so if your son or daughter are doing well at their career right now, maybe they're making 100, maybe they're making 150. Well, they have to tack on an extra $100,000 in income.
Yeah.
That's going to shoot them up probably one, maybe even two tax
Oh,
brackets.
at least.
And less of what you earned, what you saved over your lifetime, ends up in your children's hands at that point.
Yeah. And they clarified it it was last year that, to your point, they'll have RMDs the first year they inherit that
That's right.
IRA. So it used to be that you could plan that out and it just had to be empty in 10 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Now you have mandatory distributions from that inherited IRA every year.
Now, I want to make sure, gentlemen, I want to make sure our viewers and our listeners understand we're really talking about upon the second person passing away inside of a married situation, Tim, right? So if I pass away, Rhonda's going to inherit that IRA, but she would not have to pull it out in 10 years. But upon her passing, when the money would go to Nick and Grayson, they would have to pull the money out in 10 years. I just want to make sure everybody understands that.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And that's a great clarification point because I think we get a lot of confusion on that. If you're a spouse, you have different rules that you have to follow, right? If you're a spouse, you can actually take that IRA and assume it as if it's your own IRA. In other words, you follow your own RMD schedule.
Correct.
You follow your own distribution
Right.
schedule. And you treat it as if it's your own IRA. It actually will roll into your IRA account. But children cannot do it that way. They have to take it as an inherited IRA or just pull it all out and pay the taxes, right?
That's crazy. Bobby, let's clarify this. What is the difference between a Roth contribution or, let's say, starting a Roth IRA versus a Roth conversion?
That's a great point, and it's something that when you're in the business, you kind of see and understand. But it's
easy, right?
It's something that a lot of folks don't. And I've realized that over the last couple of years is that Roth contributions are subject to limits about how much you can put in a year, and it's also subject to income limitations.
Right.
So you can make too much money to make Roth contributions. Roth conversions don't have any of those limits.
Right.
And so you don't have to be working. You don't have to be under a certain age. You don't have to have certain earned income. You can convert from a traditional 401k or IRA into a Roth anytime you want to in any amount.
You just said something, so I want to point this out. I'm 45 years old. I just got a new job with a new 401k at a new employer. I've got an old 401k, Bobby, and I've got $150,000 sitting in that old 401k, but I'm only 45 years old. So congratulations, done pretty well. Are you saying that 45-year-old can convert that $150,000 into a Roth IRA from
Yes.
their old 401k?
Yes, I am.
Can you imagine that growing over the next 20 years for that person? I mean,
And
wow.
that's what I was going to bring up is that a lot of people wait until they're getting older, or a lot of times we say, does it make sense to wait until you don't have any earned income anymore, right, to convert that
Right.
at a lower rate? But man, when you're that young, it may make sense to go ahead and pay the taxes at a marginal rate, even if you're
Yeah.
a good earner.
Yeah.
Because think about all that tax-free growth you have potentially for the next 20 plus years before you need to pull out.
So why don't people do it?
That's what I was about to ask you.
It
You stole
hurt.
my question.
It hurts, right?
Yeah.
I'm I'll put myself out there, right? I contribute to a SEP IRA every year. That's a
Yeah.
pre-tax account. I get the tax deduction for it, but I don't do it necessarily for the tax deduction. I do it to get it into a qualified account so then I can Roth convert it. Over half of my investable assets are already in Roth IRA money.
Let's
yeah,
go,
that's
Tim.
incredible, man.
And that's because I understand that for the next 30 years, I'm going to be working, and I want that money to grow tax-free for me, right?
And so we just brought up a phrase. I use the word old 401k, dormant 401k. Bobby, why are people not taking control of that money when they change jobs? I mean, how many folks have you and Tim sat down with this year that have old 401ks and they're just out there with their ex-employer
Yeah, we
and they have no control?
We met with a guy last week, I think it was, that is just that, right? You get a new job, you're worried about getting the new 401k set up, getting used to the new job. He had 4 or 5 old 401ks out there,
Wow.
and they were just kind of chugging along with whatever they were doing. If you leave your employer, you can immediately take control of that, roll it into a self-directed IRA. So many benefits there. We could talk a whole segment about why you should do that. Take control, better investment choices, fees you can control and understand. A lot of 401k plans, they have fees. Not all employers pay those fees for you.
Right. So Tim, you got a 401k. Does your 401k talk to you about income planning?
No.
Does it talk to you about tax planning?
No.
Does it give you?
There's a special tax notice.
There is a special tax notice. Does it give you fewer options as far as money and strategies with your money?
Most of the time, yes.
It's not a living, breathing person. It's a vehicle, and take control of that money. Come down, sit down with Tim and Bobby. Let them show you 45, 55, 65. It doesn't matter how old you are. Take control of that old 401k because, Tim, I'm going to throw this at you. Take action before the tax window closes because we only got a certain amount of time here, gentlemen.
I would
Take
agree with
action.
that. You got 4 years that we know of that we are going to be at these low tax rates. Now's a really great time to start doing some of these Roth conversions.
Yeah, and again, taxes have to go up.
Well, we think they are. I mean, I don't see how they can't.
I don't see it the same, right? And so we'd like that this window's been extended, but it can't last forever. Do it now when it's the third lowest ever. It's an incredible time.
So, Bobby, let me ask you this question. Is there someone, let's say there is someone 60 years old, they're still working, they got $1 million in their 401k. We can take a partial withdrawal from that,
That's right.
take control of it, and start doing Roth conversions. But what if they don't want the money in the market?
Well, then there's plenty of options for that, right? You can have a Roth IRA fixed indexed annuity.
Yeah.
You can have a Roth savings account. I
You
wouldn't
can have a
recommend
Roth
it, but
everything.
you can have it, right?
And so I would have a conversation with that person and try to convince them that at least some of that money needs to go in the market.
I agree
because
with
that's
that.
how you maximize that tax-free growth. But if you're really sensitive to market risk, there are options out there for you.
You could take half of it and put into one of those fixed index annuities in a Roth form and create a guaranteed income tax-free.
I just did this for a client of mine in Florida, and now his income that he's pulling off of his annuity is all tax-free.
I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. Folks, what I'm trying to tell you is there are so many options out there, especially when it comes to income planning, tax planning, legacy planning, long-term care planning. We've kind of hit on all of that today. It's been an awesome show. The bottom line is you have to make the first step and come in and see us. Stop procrastinating. I think procrastinating is going to catch up with you. You have a window of opportunity right now to really get some taxable money into tax-free accounts. It's going to be better for you, your spouse, your children, your grandchildren, your favorite charity, whomever you want to leave that money to. But you need to find out if it's really a good idea for you. Start with taking our quiz, GIARothquiz.com, GIARothquiz.com. It will give you some really good insights about where you're at in your current situation. Then come in and have a conversation. Let's see if it makes sense. Guess what? It might not make sense, but most likely it will. We just have to put a written plan together for you. I want to remind you one more time, Lunch and Learn coming up August 14th right here at 1825 Gun Barrel Road. If you're interested in that, it's 1:30 to 3:30 on August the 14th. Give Abby a call, 423-710-9199. Tell her you heard us on the radio or you saw us on YouTube and you want to come in for that. Absolutely free. It'll be us three bozos up there teaching you guys everything we can about tax planning and income planning. It's going to be a lot of fun. Again, August 14th, 710-9199. Give Abby a call. And again, go to GIARothquiz.com. Guys, great show.
Thank you.
I
That was
enjoyed
awesome.
it.
That was a lot of fun. Hey, I hope you guys enjoy it. And we'll see you next week on Plan Today.